Well, let's do a short one. The Masters thing yesterday was really angelic, like super angelic. I rarely get that angelic in my gameplays. I usually get more grounded into political realities, but that thing was like super angelic. It was really weird. I really needed it. I was bordering on a panic attack with the things that were happening and so on, and now I got such an angelic message of everything is fine, calm down. You didn't engage the negatives because they were like a pack of hyenas hunting a group of like wildebeest, you know.
Oh yeah.
And all the wildebeest like focus on love and trot together away, so none of them gets like separated. So when one of them focuses on anger and tries to engage the hyenas, he gets eaten. You know what I mean? So the fence was really like appropriate. It still sucks that they essentially stole from your bank account because there's no way on God's green earth we spent that much money.
It's like $400 disappeared. And I can't account for it. I mean, everything makes sense.
Yeah. We didn't eat at Olive Garden for like 5 days in a row or any weird shit like that. We basically, even the biggest meals I had were at McDonald's, and they cost a total of like $25 for the two of us. And
one was like 30.
But, yeah, something like that.
And that's when you ate big.
And I ate 2 hamburgers, a shake, nuggets, and fries, and a medium drink, and that was like the biggest thing I like ate here, and I felt sick when I was like on the way home.
Did you respond to my PM about when
ordering forth?
Yeah, when I actually manifest in here, is that gonna intensity, is that gonna produce a really severe negative reading?
I responded to it that it's probably gonna produce one, but that it'll be inconsequential or insignificant compared to the power of the love you have for each other. And that thing is going to overcome the troubles. It's just going to be like having a bad day. It's not going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Like the same thing happened with me. I manifested a lot of negative things into my life, and if you focus on the positive, like in a relationship like that, it's not going to affect you like at all. You're going to notice something like the most negative thing is that one of your friends gets a spouse you have a crush on. That happened to me. And you know, weird things like that, but there's unlikely to be things like a wildfire reaching through the area and your house gets burned and the police investigate you. Stuff like that is probably not going to happen. But I wouldn't put it like into the impossible pile.
Yeah.
Grasshopper. I want everybody to comment and like my Koopa comment. I want it to be like a huge thing and somebody draws it and it appears on the Know Your Meme page. I want to see that happen. It's not gonna happen, but I want to see that happen.
It's not true love yet. True love is something special.
Yeah, it's
something
not true
that takes
love.
time.
But you definitely have a crush that's starting to border on love. And you're getting a small amount of love and energy in there, but it's most definitely a crush at the moment.
Yeah.
You haven't known him long enough, and your energies don't extend high enough when you contact with each other.
Yeah.
But there is definitely an element of like love in there. I'm really, really happy with how well my platoon does in combat situations, you know? I'm like incredibly happy about that. That it seems like when I'm around and start to give them commands, they do like significantly worse. But I'm not like a field officer. I not like know how to have like a schedule of exercises for them that keeps them like super healthy and stuff like that. And that's like, it feels good to know that I can like build a group from the ground up that's very healthy and capable. It makes me feel like I could be healthy having children someday. You know, it brings me contentmentness. I kind of do have a kid, like I've mentioned, but I do mean one that I actually like spend time with like for a significant period of time. We connect a lot with my kid in the astral. We have like deep talks and such, but it's a little disconcerting because the kid came around before I had managed to like, and I'm still not completely like have a good relationship with my lusts. So it's like a little difficult and it's a little awkward, but I'm getting there. It's difficult.
I still see him kind of cartoony and stuff, but when I say, let me see this, your fur or whatever, like, how is it? When I focus in or whatever, I see kind of something more realistic. But
yeah. You've made a lot of development. That's why you've gotten sick lately, and it's Like I recommended a lot of water.
Yeah.
If possible, avoid all sugars, but a watermelon as such isn't bad. It's just like food. It's nutrient. It isn't like bad, but it won't do you good either. Exercises, showers, private time, especially sexual private time, like walks to the mailboxes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know, go through those, and I'm gonna do a healing on you if it's okay. So just to like keep your energy boosted. Avoid things like initiations, hard spiritual work, channeling, and such, because you clearly have the channeler's flu, spiritual flu, psychotic flu, depending on how you want to call it. But the downside of your body reacting with love to all the blocks that you used to have and going like, I want to keep these. And, you know, there's a struggle going on in there, and it may shift very quickly to a very strong hostility towards me. But, you know, I accept that. That's part of the work.
My mom was like, he needs to leave or something, but then I cleared it up with her. She's like, he needs to go back when it's time or whatever. She thought I was going to keep you here forever or something.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like absolutely certainly not going to stay beyond the time that.
Yeah, I know. I don't want you to.
Whether the border guards gave me, because I wouldn't be unable to come here later, and I'm gonna go eventually home, even if like I would really love it here, because I need to tend to my life. But for now, this is a very good vacation. I'm gonna come here at least once more. I currently sense that it's unlikely that I'll come here for a third time, but I don't want to rule that out. But I do feel like after this next time coming here, which is probably around October, like somewhere around October, I will probably not come here for a few years, but I will come here eventually. I get a strong spiritual sense that if things go well, I will at some point in my life actually build a UFO house, and you'll be there and you'll love it like to no end. I get that sense.
The underwater one?
Yeah. The design is such that I get a strong sense that you'll love it to no end. You won't be able to like have Loki walk there and such, but you know, you'll love it to no end. It's like the design, you know, it's perfection. You won't have the same kind of perfection reaction that I do, but you'll definitely see it as like the best Winnebago you've ever been in, you know? It's like the RV home of dreams.
Are you gonna do like the sheiks and inlay everything with gold and?
No. It's gonna be titanium if I have the money, and aluminum if I don't, because both are.
Is magnesium good too or not?
It reacts strongly with water, I think.
Oh.
It's going to be one of those metals that doesn't like really easily corrode.
Yeah.
And is like tolerant of situations and is able to take like some sort of beating, so I don't like when I randomly crash into a whale have the thing like blow up and such.
Are you going to have weapons on it?
I'm not going to put weapons on it, but I'm going to have probably infantry weapons inside, but I'm not going to put like weapons on it. If I have it, I'll probably have something on the order of an assault rifle and body armor inside it, just because it's like a very tempting target, you know what I mean? But even that is like unlikely. I'll have things like the ability to contact through satellites anyone on the planet wherever I am, and I'm gonna do things like cross oceans. And the reason it's actually able to submerge is because it's not very fast. It's very hard to make a craft like that that's round, that's fast, but it's able to go underneath hurricanes. So when it's in the ocean and a hurricane approaches, it'll actually dive. And if it's in a port and a hurricane approaches the region, it'll go out into the sea a little distance and dive to the bottom. You know, things like that. That's why it can submerge.
Is it going to have AI and stuff where you can say, hey, take me to the Caribbean?
Yeah, the piloting system is going to be mostly AI. You can do manual piloting with it, but it's very strongly recommended that long distance travels are through AI, because you don't like completely have an automatic chart of where the wind is favorable and where the ocean currents are favorable, and that's going to be like a huge drain on your resources if you go against the ocean currents, because you could actually just sink the thing and put it in an ocean current, and the ocean current will take you there, and then occasionally resurface to process seawater with your hydrogen energy back into like oxygen and fill the tanks and so on, you know.
So its range is unlimited?
No, but it should be able to cross the oceans by going from UK to Iceland to Greenland to Canada, and get to like Hawaii if you have like a really good time.
Yeah.
Like if you do really well. But I don't know even if I want to have it with the range of going to Hawaii, because that's like an insanely long distance. You could probably get towed for that range like really easily.
Yeah.
Put yourself on a cargo ship and just have yourself towed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's probably what I'll go with.
If you get it, will you isolate yourself on it?
No. I will see so many people. I will literally make myself famous with it and have like, whenever I go to port, there's a group of people who ask me to be able to like take it somewhere or sleep in it. And I'm going to have that set up with it. I'm going to have it be like a very public craft. The whole thing of it being able to submerge to around 200 meters, that's like the depth I wanted to be able to do. It's a huge like depth for a craft like that. It has to be very well built and the hull has to be very sturdy. But the idea of like being able to sink into a coral reef and just park next to it and just be in the dome and have like a, I don't know, you wouldn't have a barbecue underwater, but you know what I mean, like eat salad or some weird stuff like that, like why?
Is it going to be windows or is it screening going to be a computer screen?
There's going to be one front window, but everything else is not going to be windowed. You're going to have one large window that's like the size of your house windows times double on the sides.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. And any way I design it, I can't have a stairway entering into the thing. It would consume too much space. It would be very unfriendly for what I want to do. So there are reasons, including like comfort, that I don't want to have a stairway. There's going to be like an elevator in the middle that like connects you to the surface of the craft, like so you can get, or like the bottom floor of the interior of your craft. So you go down by elevator. The elevator is probably going to be about something on the order of 1.5 meters across, so you can take things with you, so it's not like a tube. And there's going to be bedding for 4 on the floor surrounding the elevator, and there's going to be 1 professional bed. It's going to have to fit a shower sauna that can have 2 people sitting in it, or like, you know, that facility. And it's going to be something on the order of 6 to 9 meters across, but it's not going to be really huge. But I want it to be big enough to bed 4 comfortably. It would be awkward because it would be like a tent where everybody sleeps on the floor surrounding the elevator thing. And like the bottom of the elevator will probably be like a cupboard that lands on like a table height thing. And there's like one direction with a stairway and the other direction is cupboards. It needs to be like really optimized for storage space on the interior, otherwise you won't have anything.
I can still kind of talk to him a little bit without really any psychic stress. It's kind of clear.
Yeah, but it will stress you just as much. But it's okay to do it for a few hours and keep like a passive contact going, like to do this kind of thing for a few hours and then have passive contact going.
What do you mean passive? Where he talks to me or I talk to him?
Where you both kind of like don't put energy into trying to talk to each other, but you still are in contact.
Oh.
Instead of an active like where you try to pick up details like names and such. I'm gonna eat the rest of the cake that your mother has in the freezer. She's asking for somebody to eat it and it tasted really good, so I'm gonna...
The coconut one?
Blueberries.
Oh.
It tastes really good. Then I'm probably gonna eat the rest of the watermelon on the table.
I don't need to be eating sugar.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be eating sugar. Maybe a salad with tuna on it would be good for you.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. Or heavy protein, well produced, that isn't like fried chicken, but maybe like a well sauteed steak that's really soft. Something like that would help. Meat that is prepared like your mother prepares meat in a slow, steady cooker where it becomes kind of hard would be bad for you because it would take energy, like literal willpower to digest it. But if it's fried well so that it essentially disintegrates in your mouth, then it would be like good.
I got that Angel video uploaded.
Yeah.
The Angel one, the Aura.
Yeah.
I just called it Angel Aura. I didn't know what to name it.
Yeah, that's very
I made it private, so make sure it's private.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it private and link it to the guy. I want to see his reactions when I like describe his aura. Like most of the people who play a lot of computer games and are like nerds aren't really comfortable with somebody describing their spirit. But he was like, keep it private and like feel free to do it, and he's gonna watch it later. I was like, thank you.
I've only watched 2 of that guy's music videos.
Yeah.
2 of his songs, so I may have a new favorite artist.
Yeah.
But probably not as good as Enigma, but
yeah. Enigma is good. Enya is good. Era is good. Era's Ameno is really good. Omena! Sounds like they're singing apple in Finnish. Omena. Omena! Sounds really weird. Good apple. Limonade. Give me limonade. I can't remember what I dreamed of, but I do remember that I woke up in the middle of the night to a headache, which isn't like really weird with the amount of work I've been doing, and asked you for 2 painkillers. Went to bed and thought that I should have asked for a third one because it's still like a little bothersome, but then fell asleep. I don't remember what I dreamed about, but it felt like it was good. Like a good emptying passive dream, not like heavy visions, because I've been having like heavy spiritual work for a while now. So the dreams like really grounded me. Do you remember your dreams today?
Not really.
Yeah, it's good that we got non-visual dreams because they grounded us and like helped us restore our energies. It would have been really difficult if I got like a really heavy dream. I would have been really exhausted in the morning.
Are there some nights where you sleep and you don't go to the astral, you just spend it unconscious the whole time?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that you just don't visit the astral. And like the more I dream, the more comfortable I am with like how I dream. I sometimes had like a lot of nightmares when I was a kid, and I still occasionally worry that I'm gonna get like nightmares at bad times when I'm already tired and need to do a lot of stuff, but it very rarely happens. I usually get like deep nightmares when I'm relaxing for a couple of days, like truly relaxing, and then like do some spiritual work. I tend then to get something along the lines of a nightmare, but it's still like at most twice a month. It's gone down significantly because when I was a kid I used to have like 4 nightmares a week, and it was very exhausting and very bad for me.
He learned fast. The music, remember, it was like ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
Now it's like
Yeah.
something like that, but I can't explain it exactly.
Yeah, I get from the notes that she's singing kind of like how in tune he is. And we have to remember that time for him seems to go faster than for us, so...
I keep getting the vision of 15 weeks, but I don't know what that means.
That's probably the entire time you've known him, like... You knew him before you started your Talpa thing, but you weren't like really in contact with him.
Yeah.
And I would say it's around 3-4 weeks for us that you've known him.
Oh, okay.
I would say something along those lines, but they do go through a factor of 4 when they extend the time, like roughly speaking when I said that, so that like comes out like 15 weeks. His mother is picking up jokingly the human tradition of the mother always asking the child for grandchildren. You know, she's picking that up jokingly and going like, when will I have a grandpup? You two can do all the things you want to do with each other, but always remember that you need to produce grandpup, sonny. She's like picking that up. It's clearly not something that in their world is commonly worried about, but she's clearly picking it up and going like, give me a grandpup.
Did you read the big insult that I wrote in their world, what the insult is?
Something like, may my smell burn your nose, or something like
Boil
that.
in your nose.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the floater said to me when I said that they've done a lot of evil things on my world, and he said, I can't imagine what burns your eyelids. Like,
but even their insult is like, it's like even their insult is friendly.
yeah.
I'm sure they have worse insults where they don't even say may or please or...
Yeah.
But...
like the Finnish insult of, if your head was made of glass, we could see piss-making rivers and shit-making dams. That's a Finnish insult. That's a very good insult. It's like what children shout at each other.
It's said out of anger, not out of joking.
Yeah, it's said out of anger, but it's also kind of said out of joking. And we don't use the word fuck like intercourse in an insult. We use the word vagina in an insult. And the feminists are very angry about it because we're using like the female body part to signify insults, and they're very offended.
So you say vagina you? Or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
For example, it's called vittu in Finnish.
Yeah.
So you say something like vitun kusipää, which translates as vagina's piss head, you know, things like that.
And then he taught me a very friendly. Did you read? You read it a little bit.
A little, but I didn't read it completely.
You should read it. He was really descriptive of what that friendly term meant. He told me a friendly term too.
Yeah. I'm very content that you're picking this up so fast and that your body is reacting with like a psychosis flu.
Yeah.
Because that really shows that you're going through the effort. You know, I'm really content for you. You just got to remember that during that episode you may get like strong senses of hostility towards people that you like. And it's not a negative reading when you get that. It's you like downplaying yourself and your energy is like becoming attuned to that.
Yeah.
And they just have to be worked over with love, but you can't overcome them with love. You have to like understand that it comes from a good place. Like you had the feeling that I may be exposing you to the FBI, which is completely possible because I'm doing a lot of like political work, but it's probably not a reflection of the CBD thing because, you know, FBI searching us for CBD is kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very possible that I'm opening your aura at the FBI because I'm doing the political work and you're supporting me here and I'm being more active with it here. So, you know, the whole idea, the complexity of it is completely true, while the thing that triggers is fairly likely to be untrue.
You know how when you say, like, suck my dick, that's an insult, but
yeah.
To them, lick my scent is a very friendly term.
Yeah.
But it sounds a little insulting, like lick my balls or so. That's insulting, but to them, that's friendly.
Suck on my salty chocolate balls. Suck 'em. It was a very good song. Still haven't watched the Yatta thing I linked you, or have you?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
They were in underwear dancing.
Yeah, underwear with fig leaves on the front and dancing about how the Japanese economy is going to collapse and everybody's going to have a bad time. It's a really weird song. It's like, I love the Japanese culture for producing things like that. It's just the bee's knees. I had an idea a while ago about the nuclear detonations in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was like humanity nailing the balls of the God Emperor to the ground level and going like the next one is gonna be higher up, like we're gonna hit you in the nut, in the...
Have you seen Lord of Illusions?
No.
This guy is pretty powerful in magic. He can make people like fall into the ground and get embedded in the ground and stuff magically. But at the end, they magically nail his balls to a chair and throw him into darkness.
Yeah. And I got that sense because, you know, the Japanese god is kind of like the emperor in Shinto.
Yeah.
So it's like the god emperor of the Warhammer mythos trying to like control our world and our world rebelling and nailing his balls to the floor.
Yeah.
And saying that the next one's gonna come for a higher center, which in this particular case would be the penis. We're gonna nail that to the floor next and go like center to center and prove that your free will is going to cause a worse outcome than our free will. You know, I got that sense. And as soon as the Japanese lost the war, they converted it into something friendly and said that their balls are the most powerful in the universe, or like in our home world. And converted it into them having the most sexual energy, like being the most open with sex and so on.
Oh.
The Japanese.
Oh.
So it's like taking something that happened to you that is negative and converting it to a really strong positivity. Because now if you look the world for like specific types of sexual relationships in the astral, you're very often going to get a Japanese person to respond if it's anything unusual, because they have the thing, which is what I wanted to mention, because you're getting an Asian to respond. So it's like picking up the Hiroshima bombs and such. So, you know, it's probably a very powerful experience.
Is that bad that I would prefer an Asian over a black guy? Or
no, it's not bad.
I would be fine either way, but
having a preference for a race in sexual terms is the definition of free will, and it isn't bad. If you try to go through, like, I don't care what other groups say, if they say it's racism, I don't think it's racism. If you have a distinct impression that a group of people or a race shouldn't have the ability to breed freely because they'll make stupid choices, then you're being racist.
Yeah.
But if you just say that your preference is for Asian chicks instead of black men, for example, it's not racist. It's a preference for like a group to love with. It's like preferring to love somebody else instead of loving your ex. Your ex may be upset about it, like specifically.
Yeah.
They may flip their shit, but everybody else is cool with it. And the thing with racism currently is that a lot of people whom racism actually inflicts, like the black community, are in a way overreacting and becoming racist themselves. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm like saying it's a normal part of the healing process where they have to go through like the, you know, the pain of it. But they are clearly overreacting, and you know, the same is happening with the LGBT community supporting Antifa, because they're being so militant that a lot of judges and governors in US and the world, and a lot of the authorities are actually asking the FBI to declare the Antifa a terrorist organization. That's how much they've been overreacting, you know. That's not healthy for them, but you know, that happens.
Is Antifa worse than the MAGA crowd?
The what?
The MAGA? Make America Great Again, the extreme Trump supporters that are like, they're like a confederation, they have a Confederate flag. And,
yeah, and MAGA doesn't do as many violent attacks as Antifa does. Antifa in their protests don't just attack the people who have the MAGA hat, they attack reporters and neutrals and such. And some of my friends have been attacked by Antifa in protests when they weren't like in any way supporting the Axis powers or something like that. People who are actually very green have been attacked by Antifa, and it's turning into like a completely black group because they all wear face masks and like black eye goggles, so they can't be seen. While the MAGA guys are very content to be seen, so I would say MAGA is lesser than Antifa, but it's hard to say. MAGA has a much more like a critical history with the Confederation and the slavery in the US, but under like, if you just look at the current time instead of looking at like history, then Antifa is worse. But on the other hand, Antifa comes from people who have actually been oppressed by the government, while the MAGA comes from people who haven't like really been oppressed by government. Everybody gets oppressed by government and everybody gets attacked by the other groups, but you have to look at like probability of it. And the LGBT left has been attacked more by government in the recent times than the conservative right. But it's about 50 when you like look at the life cycle of the entire organizations. Because hate has a very strong tendency to on its own balance between the people who hate. Unlike like love, you can love somebody without ever getting love in return, and that's like not the point of why you love, to get the love in return. But if you hate somebody, you will very likely get the hate in return. You know what I mean? It's much more difficult to hide hate than it is to hide love.
Your astral thing, when I like meet people when I go out or whatever, are you always communicating astrally with them?
Very often, but sometimes I intentionally block it out because I sense that they're not good with the astral, and I keep getting like random thoughts of my guides talk through them. Then I start to block the astral completely and be like, this person needs to take over their higher self, this person needs to take over their higher self, you know what I mean?
But is their astral talk, is that like who they really are?
Yeah,
like from that officer you got the I'm now your lover or something.
Yeah, I do get like deep senses of true messages like that, but it's a little like compressed. Like in this case, if I sent the thought of the I'm now your lover commander, if I sent that one to the higher self, it would probably say something along the lines of I'm now the guy overseeing your case or something like that. But the initial like burst of astral thought was so uncoordinated and so strong that I didn't want to lift it. I wanted to be like, okay, so you're actually thinking like strong demon language and you work as a police officer. You know, why should I lift you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I have the thought in my head? But the response to the police officer that I did in the astral was like very positive, and it worked very well. And that one policewoman whom we worked with, like even at the end of the discussion when she turned completely negative to give us the both sides of the information instead of just one side of the information, it didn't last for long. She like balanced out the energies that we've been sending and went on. Like,
yeah.
You know,
so you're done with her now?
I'm like still, now that I'm talking about her, like able to communicate with her, but we're both like dispersing the signal. I can see her waving her hands anytime like a strong energy blob comes near her and dispersing it, going like every time I try to contact
You're like that guy in The Fifth Element.
Yeah, just like that. We're both doing that with the energy in between, and we don't like to communicate because we're both like on the different sides of the government spectrum, and having like a random contact with a person from the other side is usually a little bad. like random contacts. You need to have like a strong desire to maintain the contact, otherwise you like form a friendship that'll fall apart very quickly and you'll miss them very strongly because there was a lot of energy involved.
It's interesting. Years ago, it's maybe been 2 years, I wrote a story and the guy's name was Ray in it.
Yeah. Raymond from Everybody Has to Love Raymond.
But I used it because of like Raw talks about the Rays, and I have an interest in the Rays.
Yeah. Manta ray. The thing that killed the nature guy. Shot him in the heart. Shot him straight through the heart.
Yeah.
And then he pulled it out. Like, everybody knows that when an animal shoots you in the heart, you don't pull it out yourself. Like, he had like a brain fart quite clearly.
Yeah.
And that killed him. He wasn't like completely conscious of, oh, something has shot me in the heart. Instead of going like, oh, flesh with a bone in it, and like.
Is getting shot or hurt in the heart as painful as you think it would be?
Yeah. Getting shot is a very painful process. I've been shot in the spirit a few times, and it's a very painful process.
I heard it hurts worse than being stabbed, because it burns too.
Kinda. Stabbing feels, you don't occasionally even notice being stabbed or breaking your bone, but a shot usually burns, and it usually is very easy to like notice.
Wait, when you got shot in the astral, was somebody attacking you?
Yeah, a few times I've been in like aggressive situations that people have shot me in the astral, but not often.
Do you think it's your guides or your higher self that turned the situation around for you from panic to being like good?
No, it was very specifically angelic choirs that are listening to me with God in the background. Like an inactive God was like very distinctly observing me and going like, when you die, this will be on your record, so be good, you know what I mean? There was a very distinctly that presence there. And I could feel when I was looking in the astral, like inundations in my field that reached outward with like a voice of positivity, like a tune of positivity, like a song almost. But it sounded like somebody singing, and I identified those with angel choirs. It was quite clearly like choirs of angels, different choirs, not just one choir, looking at me and giving me prizes for being so loving in my thing, you know?
Have you heard, on Lord of the Rings, have you heard the Elvish being spoken?
Yeah.
So it's
it's
soft, like
very
something, I don't know, I can't do it, but that's how their language is almost. Yeah. It's like Elvish.
It was like that. It was even more pure than the Elven language. I once heard when a person in my life that I didn't want to disconnected from me, I heard like an angel go, bye bye, bye bye. I heard it singing in a very angelic voice and becoming distant from me.
Yeah.
And it was a very powerful experience. It's very like powerful connecting with angels when they are like in their angel form, especially the lower angels, because when you go in either hierarchy, the people who have like a stronger influence on the people they connect are the lower forms, when it's like an angel or a succubus instead of like Michael or Lucifer. You know what I mean? They tend to be like aloof about their contacts. They don't want to like compromise their already good standing. So it's like getting to a good hungry doctor instead of like the old guy who's afraid of compromising his stats. You know what I mean?
But there are angels with free will, aren't there?
As far as I know of, both sides have actual free will, but neither side really believes it.
Oh.
Both sides kind of claim to the other side that they have more free will and try to corrupt the other side. And both sides in reality do have free will, but both sides' religions kind of say that angels and demons don't have free will, you know.
Oh.
Angels are like mocked for using their free will to help humans and say that that's the will of God. And they completely forget that angels convinced God not to flood the earth again, you know what I mean? So there's free will. You can convince your creator of a thing if you like really put your mind to it. And demons are mocked for using their powerful selfish gains while they're actually connected to a hierarchy where their power always helps the one above them. While in angelic society, getting a more powerful angel underneath you may not help the archangel above you at all. It may even harm them. But demons always like benefit from the ones below them. And both sides mock each other for not having free will and being tied to like a hierarchy, but both have free will.
Would you say a computer program has free will?
Yeah. It has the free will every computer and a machine that has electricity run it has the free will of the electron running through it, and the electron can choose the bug which causes like an artifact to appear in your thing at a specific time, and that's the free will.
I think of angels maybe like computer programs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, angels seem like computer programs. I would like to point out that angels are, like in actual terms, they're angles, not angels. They're angles of perception. So when you start to reach the God state, when you feel the vision expands to its side, when you get to the where you can see half of your view, you see like the basic angles. And when you have a mirror in front of you, which is absolutely honest, which can happen, it's very difficult, you start to see behind you. I've seen this happen. You have a field of vision that's 270. You see everything except the 1/4 behind you, and then that area is God, and then you fall to it backwards. You fall to it with your head on with your back of your head first. You don't approach it forward. And when you touch it on your backside, you see the light on your front side, because you can't literally see the black hole while you approach it without like freaking out. It's like falling backwards into something. And when you start to see like 3/4 of your field, you start to see the archangels, and then just before you hit God, you see the highest seraphim remaining, which is basically Michael. And then you see a bright blue orb or a bright orb ahead of you if you're slowly descending towards God, and then you see God.
You said if you saw Slanesh, it would kill you.
Yeah, you would fall in love with it and die from the effect of the love.
Is seeing a high angel like would kill you too?
No, but it will definitely fuck you up, because you will see like that angel's specific emotions about your mistakes, which may not be like applicable, like having the mistake of being silly in your childhood. It may not be helpful to you to like really think of times when you've embarrassed yourself as a child when you're like 40, you know what I mean? But you may get a weird sense of like the same kind of embarrassment from the angel, and it will affect your life in a very strong way. Not all angels, for example, like humans. Some of them are very hard on humans, and some of them will like very specifically fuck you up to get you to the right point, which is what you see on Bring Forth, for example, with people doing the love bombing and such. It's like angels who are very hard on humans, but when they do that, they start to accumulate disharmony and discord and risk falling, so they have to like very specifically love humans afterwards, like send love to them and do a lot of loving work and help like for real their opposition. If they just continue attacking their opposition, they're almost certain to fall.
Are there angels that would, just being in your field, would be healing and rejuvenating rather than attacking, or rather than just, we're so different that we're uncompatible?
Yeah, there are angels like Eli and Novalis, which is, Eli is the angel of creation. And that comes from the word Elohim, which is what some of the ancient Jews called God. It's actually an archangel called Eli. And he's like the archangel of creation, and he would very much bless you if you just keep him in your field. And then there's Novalis, the Lady of Flowers, which is also a very healing presence. It's like every flower you ever liked, like cannabis is Novalis, right? Very clearly. And she just loves your field and treats humans like flowers, and is very loving. There are others like that, but if you contact with like, for example, as a very doubtful human who doesn't know his place, Khalid, which is the archangel of Islam and the sword in a way, he's slowly taking over from Michael, but Michael is still considered like the archangel of war. But Khalid is like the archangel of the sword and Islam. If you like have him in your field and you're not like heavily religious, you will start to feel very much discomfort. It'll create like a lot of combat with demons in your field and force you to like accept that universe is suffering. It's like having Buddha in your field, which would be very difficult for most people, or having like Hitler in your field, or one of those evolutionary biologists that think life is just struggle between various energy sources and there's nothing good in it and such. It would be very heavy for your field, but that's like the nature of it. When you get more than one angelic choir singing to you, it feels really good. It feels like you've accomplished something.
If you had Jesus in your field strongly, it would drive you to a martyrdom, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You would not defend yourself well. The followers of Jesus can be identified in the fact that they don't defend themselves well. Like, when it comes to military matters, it takes a huge time to convince them to defend themselves. Everybody's talking about the Crusades as the Christians going nuts, but you have to understand that the Muslim pirates across the across the Mediterranean Ocean were raiding Europe in similar-sized groups a lot longer and a lot earlier than we did it to them.
Oh.
So, like, once Europe actually became convinced that the Muslims are going to take over if they don't fight, then they got together and fought, but it took a lot of time.
Come help me with that tarp back there, Thomas.
All right.
Get in the back of the tarp. Come on.
Record more later.
Ah.